So I've eaten the Reuben sandwich probably like a million times. Well, obviously not a million, but at least a few hundred. And I never stopped to think, was it more delicious when the corned beef was sliced thin or thick? Because, well, most likely I was just hungry and needed something to eat. But now that I have all this leftover corned beef, I want to know, what's better, thin or thick? I wonder. So the Reuben sandwich has two origin stories. One made by a guy named Reuben Kulakofsky in Nebraska, which used a Thousand Island, which was made in New York. The other by Reuben Delicatessen in New York City, which uses Russian dressing, which was founded in New Hampshire. What in the mix? What? You know what? Doesn't even matter. One is a little zesty, one is a little sweet. Honestly, you can use whichever one you'd like. Now, if you want to use a Thousand Island dressing, I have a fantastic recipe in my 5 most popular dressing recipe videos. Check it out, super easy to make. For Russian dressing, also very easy to make. Here's how you do it.
And you know I'm always going to make extra. We're going to start off with 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. Next, we're going to add in 1 cup of chili sauce. You could use ketchup if you'd like. Next, we're going to hit it with a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, a 1/2 small diced yellow onion, followed up with 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh parsley, dash of Worcestershire, a dash of Tabasco, season it with salt and pepper, then using a whisk, mix everything together until it's combined, and you can use it or not, it's up to you.
Sauerkraut, obviously a huge component to the Reuben sandwich. Now, you can use the stuff from the grocery store, but what if you made it homemade?
You're going to need 1 head of green cabbage. Slice it in half, then remove the core from each of those halves, and then take those halves and then slice them again, so you should have 4 quarters. Now, what I like to do is run it on a mandolin to thinly slice it. This is just the quickest, easiest way. You could, of course, julienne everything with a chef knife. Now, let's transfer all of this to a very large bowl. Then we're immediately going to add on 1 tablespoon of sea or kosher salt. Now, using clean hands or gloves, whatever you got, we squeeze the cabbage very firmly and very vigorously. We want to break it down, soften it up so that it starts to secrete its own liquid. I mean, look at this. When you have about a 1/2 cup of liquid at the bottom, we're good. This takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Now what we want to do is sprinkle in a 1/2 teaspoon of caraway seeds. That is optional, but I just feel like it adds awesome flavor. Once it is in there, we are going to transfer it to a sterilized large mason jar. Go back and grab that water in the bowl. We're going to pour it right on top. This is crucial. Don't forget this part. And then using a pestle or a firm spoon or fork, we press it down just like this. You want to make sure all of the cabbage is submerged in its own liquid. This is incredibly important. And then at this point, we screw a lid right on the top, make sure that's also sterilized. And then we come back 2 to 3 times a day using that pestle or fork or spoon and press it down to make sure it is submerged. You leave it in a cool, dark place for 8 to 10 days to ferment. And then after that time, we just put it in the fridge. You'll be good to go for up to 6 months. And just in case you're wondering, here's what it looks like after those 8 to 10 days. Yep, perfect sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut is an absolute staple ingredient in the Reuben sandwich, but who's going to want to wait 8 to 10 days before you can make it so you can eat a Reuben sandwich? My guess is probably not you. But now we can talk about bread. We have options, my friends.
You can use a light rye bread. You can also use pumpernickel, or of course, you probably see this at just about every diner, rye marble, which is a combination of light and dark rye with some caraway seeds. And I told you I'm going all in on pumpernickel. You want to take really thick slices here because this is a juicy sandwich and you need the bread to be able to hold up.
And if you're asking me, the pumpernickel just brings it in the flavor department, so that's probably the one I'm going to use. And now for the most important ingredient, corned beef.
It doesn't matter if you used my homemade corned beef recipe, you bought from the store and cooked it, or you just happen to have a lot of leftover chunks from that special little Irish holiday in the spring. What you want to do is trim off a lot of the fat. Then we need to cut it across the grain. You see how the grains are running this way at an angle? We're going to turn it and slice it this way. We're going to first start by thickly slicing this up. I'm going to make them in between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick all the way down.
Oh, I can hear the chatter online already. He's touching meat and he's not wearing gloves. Well, I only ever really wear gloves when I touch raw protein. And corned beef, it's already cooked.
and just continue to slice until that chunk is used up. Now, brisket is made of two parts, the flat and the point. It's separated by some fat in the center. You could remove this, or to me, it's going to cook out when we heat it up before we put on the Reuben sandwich, so leave it alone. And then to thinly slice, we are going to add our piece of corned beef right to a slicer, turn the dial, and then thinly slice back and forth to get the most beautifully perfect thin slices. Why do I have a slicer?
It's kind of a long story. Okay, in all seriousness, I got a good buddy who does a lot of stuff with housewares, and he called me. He's like, hey, Billy, I have a slicer in the office, and I would love for you to take it off my hands. And I'm a chef, so I have the opportunity to get a meat slicer, and for free? Of course I'm going to take it. Now, I understand you probably aren't going to have a meat slicer at your house, so you could still slice this pretty thin using all those knife skills I taught you.
The corned beef is completely prepped up at this point. I got thin slices, I got thick slices. I'm just about ready to go.
Sauces are prepped up, sauerkraut's done, the corned beef is sliced. It's showtime.
On a griddle or a flat top, like one of those Blackstones, even a very large cast iron skillet will work perfectly here. We're going to add on 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter over medium to medium-high heat, somewhere in between there. Once it's melted, we're going to start with that thick slice sandwich. First, we're going to add 4 big old slices of corned beef. After about 3 or 4 minutes or so, we're going to come back and give them a flip. You can see they got a nice little sear on them. At this point, we're going to set them to the back, just keep them warm. Now, on the other side of that griddle, I have 2 tablespoons more of unsalted butter. What you want to do is move it around, spread all of this all over, because we're going to add both slices of that pumpernickel bread that we sliced up. We want to get a nice little toast on them. After about 3 to 4 minutes, same thing. Let's check it. Starting to get nice and toasty there. Perfect. We're just going to remove the bread really quickly, add a little bit more butter because we want to toast the other side of it. Now, once you put the bread on there, we are going to spread that Thousand Island, just in case you're wondering, I like Thousand Island. Then we're going to add the corned beef right on top of that. Hit it with 2 slices of Swiss cheese. You could add another slice if you just love cheese. Then go get that homemade sauerkraut, or if you have store-bought, totally fine. Then we're going to add that other slice of bread on top. Give it a nice smash. Cook it for about 1 to 2 minutes. We're going to flip it over. Get everything cooking, all those juices flowing. Give it a quick smash. After another 2-3 minutes of it cooking, let's take it off and plate it up. I'm going to use a serrated knife for this first one. Slice it. Let's have a look at the inside, and yeah, amazing. Okay, to the thin slice one. You know the drill. Add some butter, wait till it's melted. We're going to next add about 1/4 to 1/3 pound of sliced corned beef there. We're just going to keep it warm in the back. In the front, we're going to add some more butter. Same exact process. We toast the bread. Once it's nice and toasty, we flip it over. Be sure to add more butter. Hit it with a Thousand Island. We're going to add on all of those delicious slices. Then we're going to top off with some Swiss cheese. Hit it with that sauerkraut, and then top it off with that top bun. I'm going to add a little bit more Thousand Island on there because it's just so good. Okay, now let's slice this one up. I'm going to change knives to a chef knife. That last one didn't work too well. Let's have a look right in the center, and boom. And yeah, if you don't want to eat this, you're crazy.
And these both just look incredible. If this was on a menu at any restaurant, looking either way, I'd order it, no doubt. Okay, 0 hour is upon us. We're going to try the thick slice first. The flavor is just like boom. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's delicious. It's a little hard to chew though, okay? The sandwich is falling apart a little more than usual. Let's try the thin slice. I'll tell you what, it's messy. But if a Reuben isn't messy, I don't want any part of it. They're both delicious. Seriously delicious. I'm going to go with the thin slice one. While the flavor is there for both of these, hands down, the thin slice one is just a little bit easier to eat. When I think of functionality, when I'm eating a Reuben sandwich at lunchtime, I don't want to go back to work with grease and corned beef hanging out of my face. So this is the one. Let me tell you something. If you love this sandwich, my croque monsieur is the bomb. I can't even say enough. It is ridiculous delicious. Check that out. I'll see you there.